This is an IPL where we've seen a 14-year-old kid make his debut. But I asked something even more surprising happened last night. RCB won at Chinnaswamy. I mean, jokes aside, they've been having a really good season, swimming season so far, and Virat Kohli has been among the runs, and Hazelwood has been exceptional with the ball. But it's largely been a team effort, and this win will mean a lot for the team, for Patidar's men. Now, are you believing each game on game, Ayaz, that this could finally be their season?
Well, you've asked me that question, but really, the question should be addressed to the RCB. Can they believe? Do they have the faith? Do they have the self belief that they can go on to win their maiden title? So far, it's looked very good for them, except for the fact that they had kept losing at Chinnaswamy. That hoodoo seems to have been shattered last night in a very commendable performance, I must say. So while they posted a 200 plus score, it wasn't such an easy win ultimately because Rajasthan Royals, not for the first time this season, they muffed up an opportunity to win, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, so to speak, and allowed RCB to get not just get two crucial points, but also in a sense such a psychological relief that what they had been struggling to do for the first month or the first half of this tournament they've achieved. Just puts them in a completely different frame of mind. I think a very optimistic frame of mind.
Yeah, so let's do talk about the Rajasthan Royals now. I think they've lost the most number of matches now. They've lost 7 of their 9 matches, but and they have 4 points, but they're not as bad as the points tally would show them to be. I mean, there are worse off teams. It's largely been a case of them, as you mentioned, struggling to cross that finish line. I mean, they had the game in their hands for the last 3 games. I mean, yesterday also, I think they needed 18 of 12. And before that, 2 games, they needed some 9 of the last over, but they couldn't finish the job. I mean, what do you think is more frustrating, being having a season like CSK are having, where you're totally out of it, or these frustrating last moment losses?
It's choosing which is the worst evil kind of a situation, or the worst predicament, I might say. I think both in their own way are terrible things for teams that are aspiring to be, in the knockout at least, if not win the title. From CSK's point of view, I think what will be perhaps a shade more frustrating because they won the title 5 times, so they know what it means to win, so to speak. They've had the same coach, the same captain, a string of players who've been playing with them for a fair number of years. Rajasthan Royals have won the tournament in the first edition, 2008. Since then, they've been trying all kinds of things, especially punting heavily on youngsters, and it's not paid them dividends. This season, it promised to, it held out rich promise, but then they've suffered setbacks. They've had sanjusamson, who's been on the injured list, and they've just not been able to finish off games. Ultimately, you must know how to win. You can get into a winning position, and if you keep losing every time, then it just kind of lowers your morale even further. I think that, and it seems to have affected, I must add here, Rian Parag. The burden of captaincy seems to have affected his batting because he's got these starts getting 20, 25, 30, and not being able to play a match winning knock. So I think, in fact, the most impressive performer from the batting aspect has been Yashasvi Jaiswal, but not enough support for him. And then from the bowling point of view, it's been Jofra Archer, who's bowled really quick, bowled extremely well, almost, had Kohli very cheaply yesterday. But it's just collectively, it's not adding up to a winning effort.
Yeah. So moving on. So tonight's match is between the contenders for the wooden spoon as of now. So that's CSK and SRH. Now we've talked a bit about CSK, and they've largely, you would say, I mean, kind of mean to say, but they kind of deserve that last spot because they've been terrible this season. I mean, nobody would have expected CSK to be this low down this early into any season because they've made so many finals before, at least the playoffs. I think they've missed the playoffs only twice or thrice. But let's talk about SRH though. Now, they are also on 4 points. They've lost the same number of matches. So what do you think happened this season? Was it just that they've put all their eggs into one basket, especially in that travishead basket, and they haven't delivered like last season? Because let's be honest, you can't have that sort of season on season, right?
Yeah, and I think you see, you in a sense set up a template for yourself, and it allows the others to also peek into the template and see what can be done to arrest that kind of progress. So I think SRH have not had a plan B. In the last match we saw Heinrich Klaassen making 70 odd and taking the score up to 140 plus. which is not a very big score given the, on what you get on flat wickets. Now they were about 40, 50 runs short. But just the fact that he and Abhinav Manohar changed tactics, they took the score to 140. Now, if you lose 4 or 5 wickets in the power play, there's not much you can do. So I think that they've not had too much of a plan B. It's been slam bang, just go and all guns blazing. And if it doesn't work, what do you do? Before, the loss has been colossal. So you're right, Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma not getting going. Uh, I think also Ishan Kishan has had, apart from the century in the first match, has not had much to do. But it's not just the batting. I think also the two big guns in the bowling department, Pat Cummins and Mohammad Shami, have been, at least where wickets are concerned and economy rate is concerned, have been pretty subpar. So that has taken its toll also. If they are bowling first, they're not being able to stop the runs from being scored, and if they are chasing or batting first, they're not getting big enough scores for these bowlers to defend. So yeah, I think it's been a pretty rotten season for SRH so far, and now between Tweedledum and Tweedledee, we'll have to see which side from CSK and SRH remains at least theoretically in contention for a place in the knockout after tonight's game.
Yeah, so there you have it. That match is tonight, and we'll get back to you after the next set of matches. So that's it for this episode of Sports Room. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Anirudh. We'll catch up soon.